Hi, everybody. My name is Stephanie Kraft, and my website is stephaniekraft.com. If you would like to book a session with me, you can go directly to my website. Again, it's stephaniekraft.com, and it's in the description box below. This video is about how twin flames are able to have babies with each other without them actually knowing each other or never having met, or even after they've met. So this is not that they're physically coming together to have the babies, and the only way to really explain what I'm talking about is to give you some examples. So I'm actually going to give you a personal example of mine that happened back in, well, doesn't matter what year it was, but several years ago, this thing started happening to me where I didn't know what a twin flame was, and I had this man kept on coming into my field. So he was very present with me. I could feel him, and when he would come, I would have this unbelievable, overwhelming feeling of love and falling in love. And with when he would come into my field and shower me with this overwhelming love, I received the very strong feeling with him, this knowing that he very badly wanted to have a baby. And I was like 41 at the time, I think. And I had already had a baby many years prior, and I was done after I had him. So I would never consider having another baby. But with this feeling, his desire to have a baby was so strong that I felt like I was going to meet him, because this was an incredibly intense knowing and feeling, and he kept coming into my field, into my energy field. And so I was thinking, well, maybe I would, because he wants one so badly, and it felt like he wanted one with me. Like when we met, he would want to have a baby. So all that was coming, flooding in very strongly. And when this would happen, there were two distinct times that this specific thing happened, which was he came into my field, incredible love, and the knowing about having the baby was there. And I felt an orb, like a soul, a ball of light or a being or soul enter my womb. Just directly enter, like through my abdomen into my womb. And with it was a lot of warmth. I felt tremendous warmth. And I actually felt like I could feel this was the baby coming in. I didn't really know why it was coming in so early, because I hadn't met him yet, but I had this experience. So the baby would come into my womb, and the warmth would spread throughout there. And, I knew what was happening. And then, I don't know if it was like a week later, but within that time period, it happened again. He came to me, the feeling of overwhelming love, the desire to have a baby with me, and then the baby, the soul, that orb of light came and entered my womb again, filled it with light, or with warmth, filled with warmth, and I knew it was the baby. I knew that the baby was coming in to my womb early. I didn't know why, but this was my experience. I felt it. So then a few months later, I met him. And I met him, this is crazy, but I met him like to the day, or, like 1 or 2 days after he conceived his baby with his wife. So I met him at conception, and he told me he just found out she was pregnant. And then the last day I saw him was the day after she was born. So I was with him, not with him like in a relationship, I was seeing him regularly in a professional type setting. He was my twin flame, and we were in that phase of seeing each other regularly from conception until birth. And that was the last day I saw him, when she was born. And then after she was born, I had some symptoms that happen when after you have a baby. Happened to me. Without going into detail, it was something that happens to a woman after you have a baby. And so it was very weird to me to go through this process of knowing that somehow I was connected to that baby, and she came into my womb before she was conceived. I stayed with him in connection to him from conception to birth. And I know part of why. I mean, at the human level, you can see what's going on. They were having, I'm not going to get into too much detail because I want to keep privacy for this other individual. But it was not a good situation. It was a horrible situation. And I feel like, maybe I needed to be there to energetically help. So I was brought in. I mean, it's very orchestrated when we meet our twin flame, and we don't really understand all the reasons for it, but that happened. It played out, and so it's interesting. Another example of this is that another one of my twin flame clients told me that she was having telepathic communication with her twin. She had never met him. He came in to her field, began communicating with her, telling her he was her twin flame. They had an ongoing telepathic relationship, and she was married, and he told her, "You're going to have a baby with your husband. However, the baby is mine. It's not going to be your husband's baby. It's going to be our baby, but it will come through you." So what I'm trying to get across in this video, and I know that a lot of you have had these experiences, because I'm having sessions with twin flames pretty much every day, people all over the world, and they're sharing their stories with me. So in that case, it would be they hadn't met physically, and she would conceive with her husband, but the baby itself would be from her twin and her. It would be their baby. And it even happened to me. So my son was born. I felt him coming in, and then I had the strongest desire to have a baby. All of a sudden, it was like, boom, I have to have a baby right now. And he was conceived in a way that I would say is not physically possible. We know how babies are made, but it didn't make any sense how I had him. But so what happens sometimes, and I didn't know my twin flame, and many years later I met him, and I have two twin flames, and so I met one of them, and interestingly enough, what can happen with twins is that you can have a child before ever meeting your twin. And then after you meet your twin, you realize that there are traits that match up with your twin or with your twin's children. So you'll probably notice that if it's happened to you, where you have your children from your spouse, who's not your twin, and later when you meet your twin, you realize that you have a particular child who is more like your twin than your spouse. They have traits, similarities. I have a client who actually sent me a picture of her child and her twin's child, and together, and they look like twins. They look identical, and they're from they each had their children separately, not with each other, and yet their children look like twins. Now, that's only one example. So people can be of different ethnicities from anywhere in the world. So I'm not saying that if you have a child with your spouse and then you meet your twin, that your children are going to look alike. It's just that we have multiple ways to figure this stuff out that is shown to us. And in that case, it was that they looked like twins. In my case, it was that circumstantially being sent to this person at conception and like ending that relationship at birth. And then after she was born, she came to me in a dream. This is the one that I had with my twin. He has no idea about any of this. I never told him, but she came to me in a dream to show me her life. She was like older, and she was like 12. After she was born, she showed me her life and that she was okay and happy and everything was good. So that was really interesting. That connection showed me that dream showed me that connection that she knew about me, and she was communicating with me in the dream. And so, gosh, I'm just looking at my notes. I think I mentioned all of the examples I wanted to bring up, but just to reiterate that when you meet your twin and you find out more about their children, you might realize that their children are connected to you, or so it's kind of like we etherically had the babies together somehow, but they physically come through the actual couple that's married or together, which are usually soulmates, even though at the soul level and energetic level, it's actually you and your twin's baby. And this can happen on both sides, your twin side and your side. This can happen years before you've ever met. This can happen after you've met. So twins can have each other's babies without ever meeting and being in physical contact. Share your stories in the comments below if this has happened to you. And yeah, it's a really short video. I just wanted to get this concept across because it's been on my mind for so many years, and I've been wanting to make this video, and something told me to go ahead and share this information now. So I will see you in another video soon. Bye-bye.